Hello, good night. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharb. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments now so I can answer your questions. All right, so put those questions in the comments now so I can answer your questions. Hello on Instagram. It's nice to see you. All right. Okay, so today I'm just going to cover a topic here, and that's fixing your immigration status. It is possible, even if you've overstayed your visa or you've been here without your papers for one reason or the other. There are options out there, and it's just for you to be able to look for those options. That's what we do at ST Law Office. Is we help our clients to be able to find solutions that are tailored for them. So that's the important thing. Um, so, you should always check in with us. There are a number of options. Yesterday, I talked about the T visa, getting the T visa work permit, the VAWA work permits, adjustment of status work permits. Those are possible, but we have to understand your circumstances to determine whether that's going to be the right option for you. Now, what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to make you ask the questions. And, if you want to ask questions about how to fix the status, give me general information. Keep in mind, this is not legal advice, but I can give general information about possible options that could work or cannot work. And what you need to do is make sure you go ahead, and if you want information that's specific to you, you need to make sure you schedule the appointment. Awesome. Attorney Deanna is awesome. Attorney Deanna is one of our star attorneys here at ST Law Office. Attorney Deanna has worked side by side with me on big victories here at the law firm. So you are very fortunate to be talking to Attorney Deanna tomorrow. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to answer some questions. So put hi there, Kitchen Prep ASMR. It's nice to see you. Put your questions in the comments. I see some questions coming in. The immigration officer told me that I'll get an RFE in the mail. How long would it take to be out? So it could be 2 to 4 weeks. If it's really straightforward, say they need your medical, they may send you a request for evidence and you have to send a medical. I don't know what's required in your case, but it just depends. It could be though they want more evidence of the marriage, and the officer is saying they're going to send more a request for evidence for that, and that could be a little more complicated. So I don't know what your situation is, but you could expect about 2 to 4 weeks to get that request for evidence. Can you do your green card process without wedding photos? So what I like to say is, now wedding photos are nice, right? But you have to have a good balance here of the evidence. A lot of people put too much emphasis on the photos. The photos are like the cherry on top. You're gonna want to have photos because in this day and age, we just whip out our phone and we're taking selfies together, taking pictures, taking videos. So it is very unusual if you have no photos or videos, and then yeah, it does look a little shady if you don't have any wedding photos. I don't know what happened, or were they destroyed? Was the phone that had the pictures destroyed? What happened? Why you don't have wedding photos? Is it that you just didn't want to take photos? But here's the deal. When you are submitting a marriage-based application, I've also heard the opposite, right? Where they say, oh my gosh, I have such good evidence. We have so many wedding photos. Well, that's not enough. And actually, if you're submitting a petition for marriage-based green card along with just wedding photos and of course your marriage certificate, you're just asking for them to deny your case. It's going to take a lot more evidence, and that kind of the kind of evidence they like to see is that kind of evidence that shows you're building a life together, children together, starting a family together, joint bank accounts, joint lease, showing you're living together, you know, affidavits from friends and family, estate planning documents, joint taxes. These are the kind of documents that really matter. And then the photos. So when I usually go into the interview, with my clients, the photo album is usually the last thing the officer looks at, after going through all the evidence that really shows that they are a bona fide couple. Then the officer will be like, let me take a look at your photos. Or they'll take note of the photos and say, okay, we got the photos, it's in the file, I'll look them over and then send you the decision. So while I would say this is an extreme, if you have no wedding photos, that's questionable. And if you have even less documentary evidence, that is going to be a bad situation. So this is where I say make sure you have no case is simple. No, I'm just going to be straight up with you. This is not the time to be doing your cases on your own. Just like this, where you're trying to figure out, oh, can I just submit it with all the wedding photos? You should, if you're guessing, if you're trying to think hard about, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Get an attorney. Because so many times I've seen cases that are straightforward just go really wrong. And I saw these especially in the last Trump administration, where it was just small errors or issues that just created a big deal in the last Trump administration. And you had couples that were denied. You had some immigrant applicants that were referred to immigration court or accused of marriage fraud when that was not necessarily the case. But because the application was done so poorly, that's what it turned out to be. So this is where I say make sure you are thorough, that you get the right assistance to get this done. If at any point you have questions, it's time to get an attorney. If you are confident, like for example, you went to law school and and sometimes lawyers need lawyers. For example, with me, if I am dealing with an area of law that I am not used to dealing with, I get a lawyer. I hire a lawyer. So it's to say this, that if you are asking questions, you need to get a lawyer. While it's not legally required for you to have a lawyer, I can tell you it's worth it to have an experienced lawyer too, an experienced lawyer that knows what they're doing. Hello, I owe taxes but have payment plan. Is it smart to apply for citizenship or wait until I paid off? So my experience has been showing that you are paying it on a monthly basis consistently. Should be enough. But keep in mind, I'm not your attorney. I can't give you specific legal advice. I don't even know the facts. Was it delinquent at first? Did you fail? Do you have penalties? Did you fail to pay taxes? And now you're trying to catch up. In that case, that could definitely raise more questions during the citizenship process. So it just depends on your facts. And this is, once again, citizenship is not going to, it's more complicated. So make sure that you get an attorney, especially here. You have some kind of history with tax. I don't know if you've always made payment plans, or did this come out of, come out of a situation where you're initially delinquent. Um, Okay, so I'm so excited for you to talk to Attorney Deanna. Attorney Deanna is wonderful here at the law firm. Hi, I got my withholding after my case. How can I obtain my green card? Can I get married and obtain green card? Withholding of removal is not legal status. And unfortunately, it would not allow you to just get your green card through marriage because you don't officially have the legal status. What you would have to do is go back to the court. It would have to be done through the court, basically. The court, they would have to reopen the case, and then they would have to readdress it, and then either do the adjustment of status in immigration court, or go ahead and terminate so you can proceed with the adjustment of status. But it also depends on how you enter the country as well. Hi, I'm a citizen. I'm a citizen and divorced and changed my name. My question: can I travel before I change my name or my citizenship? And what's the process to change my name? So, when you're in the process of getting citizenship, once your citizenship is approved, they can change your name on your naturalization certificate. That option is in the N400. But if you've already gotten citizenship, then you have to follow the state law. So it's whatever the state law says on how you change your name. I don't know because I'm not an attorney that advises on changing names in a civil court, but usually a court will do a change of name. Unless you're divorced. If you're divorced, you can show your divorce decree and then change your name back there as well. Yes, absolutely. She is great. She's a superstar here. Officer recommended me for approval in green card marriage interview for I-130 and I-485. I got I-130 approved same day, but it's been 2.5 months, but I-485 is still pending. They may still be looking at it. Is there something missing? It all depends on what your particular situation is. If you are an LPR filing for citizenship, do you suggest using an attorney, or the person can go ahead and submit the application online? You're never gonna hear me say do it on your own. So many things can go wrong with the citizenship, and the main thing that can go wrong with citizenship is underestimating the citizenship requirements. Now, we have multiple complexities that have been added to the citizenship test. So you definitely the citizenship test, by the way, they're floating the idea of making it harder. But in addition to that, we have anti-Americanism evaluation, and we have the good moral character evaluation. And everybody that applies has to submit documents to show why do you deserve it. Certain documents, like maybe volunteer work, maybe showing that you've consistently taken care of your family, that you've held consistent employment. You have to show you've started a business, you've gone to school, you graduated college. These are the kinds of things that they do want to see now. And it's not to say if none of those apply to you, then we have to look at, well, what does your life look like? And show the good in your life. So I don't want you to feel like you have to be like a Nobel uh, Prize winner, or a Nobel Peace Prize winner to get this, right? You don't have to show necessarily, it's nice, but you don't have to show volunteer work, or, it's nice. And they have mentioned these things, but if you don't have it, what do you have? That's positive. You know, many of you, when you're going from green card holder to citizenship, you have worked your ass off, and because you've worked your ass off, you been basically working so much you didn't have time for anything else, but that is very constructive. You've been working hard to take care of your family, take care of yourself, grow in some way or shape or form. So we'd want to talk to you to find out what those things are, and then make sure we are you showing those aspects of your background so you can meet the good moral character evaluation. For a legal status, how long can green card holder file for citizenship through marriage? Through marriage to a U.S. citizen, 3 years. What could cause VAWA denial? So there are a number of things that could cause VAWA denial. So one is an insufficient declaration. A lot of people don't really understand all the extensive requirements of a VAWA application petition. And so the statement that you make may not be sufficient. It may be too surface, not doesn't provide the level of detail that's required for the officer to accept it as evidence. So they could then reject your statement. And if they reject your statement, usually that's the foundation of the application. So they are going to then, reject. Basically, might affect your whole application. Um, Inconsistencies. So you have to make sure that in your statement you are paying close attention to dates and details, because they pay attention to those. Other aspects of a VAWA application where it could be denied is not failing to show other requirements like good moral character, showing that you lived with your relative or spouse at some point in the relationship, and failing to show the citizenship or that your relative or spouse is a citizen or resident. Now, there are ways to do it. You don't need to have their passport necessarily or their birth certificate. There are other ways to show that they are in fact a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. So those, I would say, are some of the reasons, where it's denied based on you not showing that you're living together. Once again, and failure to show bona fides of the marriage. So you still have to show that your marriage was real. And this is where I say, make sure you're documenting everything so that you are able to show that your marriage was real. It just did not work out. Um, what what is the time period for work permit for VAWA? 6 to 12 months. So get on it now, because getting on it now means you're closer. The day you start is you're closer to getting your protection and that work permit. Do you work out of all states? Absolutely. Actually, I'm traveling right now, so I'm in a hotel room right now. Good night. Are you an immigration lawyer? Yes. Well, this says imagination lawyer. It's cute. I like that. Imagination lawyer. Because every great vision, every dream starts with an imagination. And this law firm that I have grown and established with now 4 wonderful attorneys, and 30, 36 team members. We all work together to change lives. And so I like that. Imagination lawyer. I am an immigration lawyer, but I like that. The imagination lawyer brings out the vision to get to here where we can change lives. What is the best thing to do when one has worked with different companies and forget the dates of employment and his filing of form N400 for citizenship, but he only remembers the years? This is too specific. This would be something that we would tackle as we are working on our client's case. And it just depends on, can we get the information? Is there a way for us to review that additional information to be as precise as possible? Um, So yeah, it just depends here. Sometimes, I can't advise. I don't want to give specific advice about forms because that is where you can really make some big mistakes. So I never talk about what to put specifically on a form. This is what we do for our clients, and we make those legal judgments based on our clients' particular circumstances. Do you get an interview date before a work permit? That's possible. Interviews are coming faster, especially for marriage base. So initially, I believe that okay, it's gonna take a while because they're doing all of the fraud screening. But what's happening, I believe, is they are scheduling these interviews quickly as part of the fraud screening, where they're calling couples in and they're really digging in at the interviews to determine whether it's fraud or whether they can approve them. So the side effect of that is that we have been seeing applications in the marriage-based process go faster. So this is what one here's one key to success. I'm gonna tell you here. Um, One key to success in a petition, especially a marriage based, in all applications, but marriage based, is when you are filing this from the get go, you better make sure it's solid. Make sure you have all the details that you need, the sufficient evidence, because that way the officer is gonna, when they review your application, they're sold from the start. And so even when they, because by the way, when they call you into the interview, they have already had a, a preconceived uh, um, conclusion about what this is. So if you submit an application that's not so great, thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna get a chance to submit additional evidence. So let me go ahead and just file it to try to get the work permit, for example, and then I can figure out the rest." That has the negative effect of when it goes before an officer and they see an application that's not complete, it has the risk of getting denied right away, or the officer then saying, red flag in it to say, this looks like a setup marriage because it didn't come with anything but the marriage certificate and very surface types of evidence. So make sure, and this is where I say have your attorney, because that's what we do here at the law firm is we make sure we're very detail oriented, that we put the application together in a way that all the information is available. And sometimes even then we'll still get a request for evidence, just depending on the situation. But it's a lot easier down the line when we get a request for evidence. It's a lot easier because we submitted so much information from the get-go. Let's see. Oh, thank you. I love that. Um, I love that question. Um, what is the time period to get a green card on VAWA? So the green card, I would say 3.5 years. You do have a work permit while you wait. A work permit, social security, security. Many of my clients, what I want to say here is if you're in a situation where you are in danger right now because you are at risk for detention, you're out of status, um, or you're in an unsafe situation with a relative or a spouse, this VAWA is the key here. VAWA allows you to get security, safety, independence while you wait. And that has been the most valuable result throughout the entire process is the peace that my clients get, knowing that, and I would say a vast majority of my clients are able to remove themselves from the situation because they get the ability to work here, they get special protection here, so they're able to say, okay, I don't need to stay in this oppressive situation or abusive situation. I can go find my way in my life. And that's where they get peace and happiness. They do get you just see it. You see the change. Most people come to me in distress. They're distressed, they're fearful, they're uncertain. As you may be watching and you may be feeling this right now. And by the time it's over, throughout, it's like a transition, right? At the 6 to 12 month mark, they get their work permit, but they've already been at peace. But at the 6 to 12 month mark, when that work permit comes, it's not just a work permit. It's freedom, it's security, it's safety, because it allows our clients to walk away from a very bad situation. So you get the work permit, social, you get special protections that help you to stay secure while you wait for the 3.5 years for the green card. So the benefit, you get benefits along the way. Do you have a private page or number that I can be contacted at? You can send us a DM. The team is working around the clock. They'll definitely talk to you in the DM and then arrange for a meeting, a private meeting with our attorneys. So we have Attorney Deanna, we have Attorney Bria, and we also have our new attorney, Attorney Matthew, that will work primarily to help us on the removal defense, because we are defending clients against removal. And so we are really coming together to strategize to get this done for our clients, to also help on the detention side as well. So that's a new expansion of the firm, official expansion. We have been doing it, but we were limited in our ability to do this. So now we're able to travel to other states to be able to help clients. So give us a call if you've gotten a notice to appear in immigration court. If you are in immigration court, give us a call. Let's talk and let's start strategizing on your defense, because that's one thing you should know, is you still have the ability to stop a deportation. There's still relief at that stage too, but you have to give us a call. So that's the exciting part, is we have attorneys here that we are strategizing with. So you can go into the DMs, you can give us a call. The number is going across the screen. The team will do an initial evaluation to see where you can fit in our process. If do we offer something that we can help you to find a solution? If so, you will schedule a strategy session with our attorneys, and then we get started. That's the most important part. What happens if you file VAWA and you haven't received a receipt notice? Boy, right now, that is the story of our life. Receipt notices are taking 3 to 4 months, and this is across the board, guys. So, what I say though is, if make sure you're tracking your packages, make sure you're getting a proof of delivery. Either send it by certified or send it by courier like FedEx or UPS, and then get proof of the delivery. That way, you know it got there. Right now, it's backed up. So you can expect 3 to 4 months before you get a receipt notice. So just track. If you are the one sending it, we track it for our clients. We handle everything for our clients in regards to sending and tracking and getting proof of delivery. But if you are going to do this, or you have an attorney doing it, just make sure that they have tracked it and they can confirm it was delivered to the office. What happens, and make sure it's the right office too. What happens if you filed paper 7 months ago and have not received the receipt? Are you safe? 7 months is a stretch. We've been seeing 3 to 4 months. 7 months is a bit of a stretch. Do you have confirmation that it was delivered? That would be my next question. My next concern would be, did your receipt notice get lost in the mail? And what I have done in a situation where a client contacted me, she was completely lost about what she was married to a US citizen who abandoned her in the middle of the process. and she had no access to any of what he filed for her. And we were able to contact USCIS directly and track it down and get them get the notifications issued directly to her address. So you may have to do that. Call them and ask them to track it down based on what you file. Like, you can share information with them that will help them find it. 3.5 year is the max time for VAWA, or is there any changes we can get approval for green cards before 3.5? What's the fastest day we can get approved? I can't give you down to the, I can't give you, it's not down to our science. I wish I could, but I can't give you a down to a science because I am not working at the USCIS. And so while I do file hundreds of these with the USCIS, that's what gives me the knowledge and to know it's 3.5 years right now. I couldn't tell you down to a science. I would say that right now, the earliest, you look at their processing times and you're going to see the longest from the shortest to the longest time. I suggest you go look at the range of their processing times, and that's going to tell you the shortest time it takes them and the longest time it takes them. It's at uscis.gov. So that would be a good place to be. Good place to start. Filed I-130 petition for my wife on December 2022. It shows still processing. Is that normal? I'm a green card holder. I've seen these get approved faster than that. So yeah, do you have the receipt notice? If it's outside of case processing times, then you can put in a case inquiry. Why was VAWA transferred from Nebraska to Vermont? They're just distributing the workload. Why did USCIS? So the transfers from service center to service center, I would not be too concerned. That's how they're balancing the workflow. All right, so now I'm going to go on to YouTube. Thanks everybody for waiting patiently. I'm going to go through your questions here on YouTube and Facebook. So hello there on Facebook. Hi on YouTube. All right. I have a pending T visa application, close to 7 months now. I'm anticipating the BFD letter, but I have a past criminal record. So unfortunately, we have been seeing a pattern where they are declining to give bona fide determination letters based on deportation proceedings, past deportation proceedings, and criminal records. And actually, while I haven't seen that yet, I have heard other attorneys saying BFDs have been denied for seemingly nothing. So, it's a discretionary benefit. It's definitely very important because the BFD letter gives protection against deportation, or if you're in deportation, it pauses it. It puts it on hold until a decision is made. And when a decision is made, it makes that deportation like it never happened. It completely invalidates the deportation. So it's a very important, T visa is very important in that respect. When it's approved, BFD puts the deportation on hold. Having a criminal record, we have been seeing that they will decline to give a BFD with a criminal record. I don't know what's on your record, but it's the pattern that I'm seeing. It doesn't mean it's going to happen to everybody, and it's still worth submitting. Now, keep in mind with the T visa, just because you have a criminal record does not mean you're going to be denied. They do have a waiver to get forgiveness. And once they do see that you qualify for the T visa, especially if it relates to the trafficking or the abuses that you experience, they are very generous with the approval of the waiver. So keep in mind that just because they deny a BFD does not mean that you will not be approved for your T ultimately. Just it's nerve wracking, right? And it just means that you have to wait a little longer to get to the solution. I need to speak on a situation. Don't know if you the person to speak with. Give us a call. Go to the call the phone number. We are 24/7. So even as I'm on this live, my team is working hard on the phones to many people as possible to get on our calendar because our calendar is filling up very quickly. So you want to make sure I want to make sure that you get in fast to get that information to us so we can help you. I come from Canada, where my asylum was denied last year. Now I'm in NYC. My question is, can I apply for asylum in the USA? Um, we it's possible to. It is still possible, but we'd have to understand what happened. Why, Canada's requirements may not be the same. We just had a client approved in the US that was not approved in another country. But we have to understand your facts. When it comes to asylum, that's the most important thing is what happened? Why are you afraid to go back to your country? We have to start there. Um, Hello. Now keep in mind you have 1 year from the date of your entry to apply for asylum. Hello, ma'am. When is the right time to file divorce waiver for removal of conditions on a 2 year? Right now. Right now. Even if your divorce is not finalized, file it now. Because you want to let them know that you have to formally let them know that you are now submitting a waiver application. If you don't, so for example, if you don't do that and you don't proactively tell them that you are applying for a waiver now, well, and what I'm talking about, everybody, is going from the 2 year green card to the 10-year green card, and you're supposed to apply jointly with your US citizen or resident spouse. However, there are situations, many situations, where they don't make it. They are separated, they're in the middle of divorce, the spouse is not going to submit the application jointly with you. You can still move forward with a divorce waiver, but you have to be proactive on filing for that divorce waiver. If you don't, and then they run a background and they see the divorce on public record, they could deny, saying there's no way that you are filing jointly when you're divorcing your spouse. So you have to take control of that and make sure you're submitting the waiver. We do this for our clients and we have had success with these, especially, where they applied before and then the US citizen spouse fell out of the picture and we had to go in to do the waiver. Can USCIS move my work permit from 2 months to 10 months? I'm not sure what that means because usually it depends on what kind of work permit you have. But are you talking about the length of time? No, if you're seeing processing time go from 2 years to 10 months, it's pretty normal for them to change it like that. What can we do if USCIS made a mistake in a BFD? They evaluated before I got my fingerprints. I don't know what kind of mistake they made though. That's the issue. Definitely talk to us. Talk to your attorney if you have an attorney. Can my approved I-130 help with AVAWA and also a psychological evaluation? Yes, an approved I-130 does. It is counted as evidence of the bona fide, and it actually can be solid evidence of the bona fide marriage. So you would meet the requirement just by having an approved I-130. And then the psychological evaluation, yes, it's always a good idea to have that. Can USCIS them more my I-765 from, okay, I'm not sure on that. Does have minor traffic offense make you denied visa BFD? It could. It could. It's discretionary, so they could hold that against you. How long does it take to get appointment for fingerprint after submitting your I-130 in North Dakota? Um, I'm not sure. So what I-130 is, I don't know about North Dakota, but in general, after you get the receipt notice, I'd say about 2 months after, 6 to 8 weeks after the receipt notice. How long does it take to get appointment for fingerprint after submitting? To answer that, what is the worst scenario when placed on deportation when you are genuinely married? So well, it just depends on why you are placed in removal. Worst case scenario is you get deported. Um, so you need to, the courts, getting defending against a deportation takes time and strategy. So you need to make sure that that is in place. If you are in that situation, you need to make sure that you're planning ahead. So when we are planning for our clients, we're planning way in advance. We're not doing anything last minute. And so if you know you have a case, you need to talk to us or talk to an attorney that can take your case and start preparing. A friend got an interview notice just 2 months of filing. She's nervous. Look at the exact, yes, she's nervous, but look at it as an opportunity. It is an opportunity to get that approval and have a wonderful story of saying you got your green card in 2 months. So just prepare very well. That's what we do for our clients. We have multiple meetings with our clients, both if this is marriage based, both in the case, most of ours, marriage based is the one where we want to really focus on the interview. And so we do multiple prep calls with our clients to make sure they fully understand what to expect and what to study, what to look out for, what to talk to each other about, um, what documents to make sure to have there. And we are usually there. We prepare the clients' documents to go in. So we rigorously prepare for these. How long does it take to get appointment for fingerprint after submitting your I-130 in North Dakota? Okay, so I answered that. I'd say no, I don't know about North Dakota, but in general, I-130 filed, you get the receipt notice, then about 2 months, 6 to 8 months, 6 to 8 weeks after you'll get the biometrics. How long does a divorce waiver take to be approved? So it's the same as the going from 2 year to 10 year, just the regular one without the waivers, up to 4 years. All right. Is it safe to travel on an advanced parole through VAWA? I would say no. If I'm advising my clients, is it while it's always the person's decision because that's what advanced parole is there to travel, but I let my clients know very clearly that traveling is risky. Right now, it's risky. Can you travel in the state with your passport, an I-45, and other receipt? No, that is not having a pending I-45. While it can help in certain situations to use it as a official travel document, it's not going to save you from any potential immigration enforcement. So you need to make sure you have a work permit. The work permit does work. Hi, I'm on a J1 visa, PhD holder from India. Can I file green card EB2 NIW without informing to visa sponsor? So this is a very strategic question. Yeah, so you can pursue multiple forms of benefits. Um, Now you said you're on a J1. Do you have the 2 year foreign residency requirement to worry about? Um, if you qualify for the green card on your own, you don't necessarily have to tell the visa sponsor. But there are facts that you would have to figure out before I can advise you further. All right. Okay, that's gonna be it for me tonight. Thanks, everybody. My gosh, the time just flies. It's been 45 minutes. Well, I see another question. I can't resist. A friend got married. A friend got married on tourist visa. Reason why she's scared, even though she knew this guy for a long time. The relationship ended at a point. Um, your friend, you can always let your friend know to give us a call. We want to find out what happened, to see if we can find a solution. That's exactly what we do. My mom is a green card holder. I have applied since March for a replacement green card. She's 82. They are telling us they are still working on it. How long should we wait before? So, usually with a replacement card or renewal of the tenure, it's it could be 1.5 to 2 years. If your mom qualifies for citizenship, I guess that my next question would be, why doesn't she just apply for citizenship? Is she did she, or does she not qualify yet because of the time? I guess. Can I travel international on a close restraining order? Um, so I don't know the seriousness of the restraining order, don't know your facts, and that sounds like something you definitely want to look into before traveling. It's a restraining order. I assume there's no arrest, but was it a restraining order that came as a result of an arrest? If that's the case, you may have a problem. It's only engagement, joint account, marriage certificate enough for me for USA visa through second marriage with citizen, but I'm previously married in USA and I'm cur- from currently India. So engagement, joint bank account, and marriage certificate. It depends. I would really want to speak with you. It does not sound like you have a lot of evidence that's convincing, but then I want to understand what the situation is, what to be able to advise. So give us a call and talk to us about it. Okay, so yes, she is, her green card was lost. Okay. So restraining order, I'd still be concerned about that. Just yeah, and what was in that restraining order. So definitely you'd have to talk to us in private, or if you have an attorney, make sure you're talking to the attorney. Okay, I see, but waiver isn't applicable to, so I think this is a J1. Okay. So yeah, if you don't have a 2-year foreign residency requirement and you qualify for the national interest waiver, um, you know, I can't keep in mind this is not legal advice. None of what I'm saying is legal advice. You can generally speaking, you can pursue more than one types of applications. You What I would be concerned about is consistency, because that can get you in trouble. So give us a call and let's talk about that NIW to see if you qualify. Uh, is it safe to travel on advance parole? I would say don't travel internationally right now. That's what I'm telling my clients. It's ultimately up to you, but there are risks. Hi there, Veronica. It's nice to see you. All right. I think I'm going to head to bed myself. I have a very long day tomorrow. And I am going to start speaking gibberish because I'm a little tired. So, thank you, everybody, for your time. I really appreciate you coming and asking these great questions. I will be back tomorrow, probably around the same time, to talk to you about updates, information, empowerment, hope, and action, right? That's what I'm here for. And that's why we continue to change our clients' lives and we continue to guide them towards great things, because we're walking on faith and good legal work. So thanks, everybody. Have a great night. And thanks so much for your questions. Have a good night. Bye bye.